Neil Crompton there with Ford inside line. We look forward to that each and every round from Neil. Let's have a look at the starting grid. Mark Skaife and Craig Lowndes. The 7th time in the championship they have dominated the front row. Glenn Seaton and Jason Bright, 2 new AU XR8 Fords on the 2nd row. Then it's dominated by Holdens the rest of the way through. Garth Tander, very impressive yesterday in qualifying, the young guy from Larry Perkins. Jason Bargwana, the 2nd Valvoline Cummins car from 7. And Russell Ingall, the enforcer, will start from 8.
Yeah, a bit far back for Russell first time around. Tony Longhurst and Mark Larkham, another couple of Fords. 18, Paul Radicic making his debut for DJR, and a great run by Stephen Ellery. John Bowe makes his debut for Cat Racing. Neil Crompton, the 2nd factory Ford. He's a bit way down the order in 14th position. Stephen Richards and Greg Murphy, the new wins combination. They'll start out at 15 and 16.
Dick Johnson at the first meeting of his farewell tour. He's saying goodbye in 1999. Starts from 17. Paul Romano, another Queenslander, out of 18. Faulkner from 19, Mark Noske, the first of the Holden Young Lions drivers in 20. Greg Crick, who swaps from Holden to Ford this year. We'll talk more about that later. Rodney Forbes, Trevor Ashby and Todd Kelly.
Thomas Mazira and Terry Finnegan, row 13, Dougal McDougall in Larry Perkins prepared Commodore. He's starting out at 14 alongside Mick Donoghue. 15th row, Rod Nash and Anthony Tratt. Simon Nurmazidis in another Falcon, and David Parsons.
Danny Osborne and Chris Smurden, they share row 17. Row 18 is Mike Conway and John Cotter in the Gatorade racing car. Look for that one, it looks great. Bob Thorne and Bill Attard from 19 and 20. It's Barry Morecambe and Cameron McLean, the former Super Tourer driver in the Greenfield Mowers Ford. He makes his V8 supercar debut and fills that 40th position. He had problems in qualifying. That's right, 40 cars here at Eastern Creek. It is a chock-a-block grid, a maximum grid of 40 cars. We were in fact oversubscribed, and through problems in qualifying and some entrants unfortunately couldn't make it, we got down to 41 cars. Richard Mork is the competitor that will not start. Couldn't get any better than this, Barry.
No, you couldn't. I was just looking at Skaife there before. You've got to hand it to Skaife. I mean, right at the end of qualifying, he stuck a lap in half a second quicker than anybody. And when you see Seaton, 2nd row of the grid, Seaton and Jason Bright, so the Ford's definitely not out of the hunt. The great thing is going to be everybody is so competitive on the same tyres. All the excuses are gone now, and I think we're being for a really good race. The most important thing to watch is the first, well, a set turn 2, the hairpin, and then turn 3, the right-hander, and over the crest of the hill. Basically, the first lap is really going to be a lot of sorting out. So there's going to be a lot of people out to make a name for himself.
Well, that's the critical thing, Baz. A control tyre, people may have been expecting the field to be bumper to bumper. All it's done is removed all the excuses that a lot of teams have been making for many, many years. Here's a race analysis of Eastern Creek for round 1 of the Shell Championship Series. 40 starters, absolutely bulging grid, 13 laps the race distance. That's just over 51 kilometres. Qualifying, the 1st to the 13th on the grid was covered by just 1.37 seconds. Unbelievable. Last year, or last winner, I should say, because it's been 2 years since the V8 were here last, Glenn Seaton back in 1997, and of course Seaton went on to win the championship that year.
Basically, you could call him Mr. Eastern Creek. This is Glenn's domain. There's been something like 24 races here since 1992, and Glenn has won 12 of them, including Winfield Triple Challenges. So he loves it here at Eastern Creek, and in his new AU XR8, he's starting from the 2nd row. He's got a good inside line into turn 1. We'll wait and see if Seaton gets the jump.
I'll tell you what, he'll be a man to watch too, because in the warm-up this morning, he was the fastest man on the circuit, 1:31.05. Jason Bright right behind him, 1:31.15 then. The first of the Mobile Holden Racing Team Commodores with Craig Lowndes. So the AU's very quick in the warm-up this morning.
Yes.
Have an indication of their race speed, Baz.
Both Skaife and Lowndes were saying that the car felt completely different this morning, the way it was turning in, the way they were sliding around and that. And basically, because the temperature's quite different to yesterday, but neither of the front row guys were very happy with the performance of their cars. Alternatively, both the Ford guys were right on the money.
Well, Jason Bright's in a good position, starting from the 2nd row. Of course, the reigning Bathurst champ, the young guy who resides in Queensland now. He's got a good spot right in between the 2 HRT cars.
Let's hope that Garth Tander keeps his nose clean. This is the first Valvoline car that he's...
It's his teammate Jason Bargwana, who got pipped by his younger teammate Tander. We're getting ready, only moments away. Look at the field at Eastern Creek as Cameron McLean in the Greenfield Ford is the last one to come into position. Get ready. This is season 1999, the Shell Championship Series. We are set to go.
Well, a long time.
Away we go now, and look at on the inside.
Oh,
Skaife.
Oh,
So
Jason
good as
Mark Scaife didn't know how to start these V8s out of horror here last year, but he's done some practice over the summer because he really tucked in there. The car launched like a missile, and Jason Bright too got a tremendous start from the second row to hack onto the back of the HRT Commodore.
I cannot believe that everybody has got through turn 2. They've really learned a lesson from the last
Melbourne,
years.
yeah, and also the Melbourne support race. They come over the hill down in out of turn 4 around the back part of the circuit. Scaife has got the jump. Jason Bright, we were saying he was in a good position. He went well, and so too did young Garth Tander. He's up there ahead of Perkins. Lowndes has worked his way back up into 5th. Then Glenn Seaton is 6th. Tony Longhurst, then Jason Barguana. Russell Ingles, Stephen Ellery is well placed. Larkin, Bow, and it looked like Paul Radisich, the first of the shell cars.
Can you believe the traffic jam there? Pitt Street in the rush hour. Unbelievable. There's cars everywhere. They just can't fit enough V8s onto the circuit as this snaking alligator line comes down toward the hairpin, run on the inside by Stephen Ellery in the Chell Grey 40. He's just trying to muscle up the inside of the Silver Bullet. Russell Ingles' new car for 99. And the field sorting themselves out. A relatively trouble-free first lap.
While they sort themselves out, have a look at Scaife. He bolted away. The run out of turn 12 onto the main straight for the first time. Here comes Mark Scaife. Lap 1 of 13.
Now, it'd be interesting to see the speed. Watch the speeds down the straight. Not so much for Scaife because he's on his own, but for Jason.
And Stephen Ellery has a run down the inside. Oh, he's all over the back of Ingles' car. And there's the Gatorade Commodore. Dillman and Cotter machine in trouble early.
Won't be working up much of a first.
And there's Cameron McLean. He's making great progress up the back of the grid. Had engine problems in qualifying. Put him right to the back of this 40 car grid. He's making a move. Here's that Shell Helix replay we were talking about.
Coming off turn 8 just before turn 9, the hairpin, and John Cotter is okay. That was the replay there of that incident. Now look at Mark Scaife, the gap back to the Pertec Ford. Scaife is getting away, but equally as well is Bright. He's left Garth Tander behind, and Tander is under siege here. Perkins is all over the back.
Yeah, it was nice for Perkins. Made a big change to see Larry qualify so well. You know, when he was on the Dunlops, it was always a struggle city, wasn't it? But big change for Larry.
Well, that's the beauty of this year, isn't it, Baz? Finally, the excuses are out the window. We've been listening for years, teams complaining, oh, gee, if I had his tyres, I'd be 2 seconds a lap faster. Well, all the excuses are over now. It's time to knuckle down. Everyone's on a level playing field. And what we're seeing here is what a lot of people suspect, the technical superiority of the Noble Holden Racing team with everyone on the same tyres.
Let's take a look at the start. This is from the in-car camera, John Bowes, Cat Ford. There he is fighting with Ellery to the right-hand side of the Chell Grey Ford. Look at that, that's Barguana fighting there with Russell Ingall. Very tight through turn 1. John Bowes got away to a great start. That looks like Mark Larkham on the outside. Stephen Ellery trying to work his way through on the inside. So a good start for John Bowes, but it's a better one for Mark Scaife, who leads the way after 2 laps. Jason Bright still hanging on to second. Tander is really being pushed and forced hard from Perkins, Lowndes, Seaton, Longhurst and Barguana. There's a big bunch of cars there.
Well, Mark Scaife out in front, but the man who's setting the pace is this car behind him. Jason Bright in the Pertec Falcon, the 1998 Bathurst winner, a 1:32.60, the first flying lap for the Pertec Ford. But Mark Scaife, 1.1 seconds the gap over the Falcon, first time across the start-finish line.
You'd have to say that last year Jason Bright ended up in a lot of places unluckily and got himself in a lot of trouble. But I think that win at Bathurst has really sort of sunk in, and I reckon you're going to see good things from Jason Bright this year.
See good things from Cameron McLean too, the man who started off the back of the grid. He's up to 23rd position. He's flying, showing the speed of the next Dick Johnson Racing Falcon. Monitor his progress as well.
The Queenslander can drive, there's no doubt about that. From BMWs and Vectras to
Larry's
Ford
getting impatient.
Well, this is going to be a great...
Well, this is going to be good.
Yeah, this is going to be a real test of his maturity, isn't it? The young Tander, he's been caught in plenty of accidents. Everyone pointing the finger at him as being the cause of most of them. But as Gary Rogers said yesterday, it's much easier to get a young guy who's very quick and tone him down rather than getting a very well-behaved driver and trying to make him fast. So this is going to be a real test for Tander.
It does look as if Larry's holding Lounsey up a bit. If you look through the twisty section, oh, Romano, don't know what he did there. But,
tough luck for the Queensland combination there because they've been struggling with some straight line speed. Have a look at this. Craig Lowndes on Larry Perkins. Lowndes trying to make up for a poor start. And we usually see he's the genius off the start, but he struggled today, and they're right up on Garth Tander. Tander can hold steady here. He's done well so far.
Yeah, well, you see, Lounsey might be in a good position here, you see, because while Tander's trying to fight Larry Perkins off, Larry's looking for a way past. and they're both sort of covering themselves. It might make life easier for Lowndes.
Well, you'd suspect Lowndes' car would be just as quick as Mark Scaife, but he's currently lapping it. Oh, goodness me! No, that's one of the
Holden Young Lions.
Holden Young Lions cars.
That's Todd Kelly. Todd Kelly has crunched the Holden Young Lions car. Now, he had a very bad accident at the Australian Grand Prix meeting in Melbourne.
That to me looks like coming through turn 1. That is a really, there he is. He's come off turn 1. He's gone right across the grass. That's the same place a few hundred metres this way where Mark Scaife came off several years ago and very, very badly injured himself. But fortunately, looks like Todd getting out okay. Whoa. Oh, my goodness.
Let's hope he's all right. He had a tough weekend in Melbourne, and the year hasn't started very well for Todd at all. He's in a lot of pain.
Oh, sit down, son.
You're going there very quick, and he's just gone straight into the wall, really.
Well, it is top speed on that straight, Baz, 260 kilometres an hour. As you approach that corner, you get it wrong. There's Neil Crompton setting that forward inside line. It's a pretty scary place to come.
Now, Lowndes has got past Larry Perkins. Here comes Glenn Seaton in the Ford Tickford Racing. XR8, the inside run on Larry Perkins. Can't quite get through. How tight was that? Perkins hangs on.
It's a great battle for the lead too. Mark Scaife, Jason Bright, another quick lap, 1:31.94. Scaife in the 32s. The gap down to 7/10 of a second. So Jason Bright is starting to close the gap on our race leader. But look at this gaggle of cars. We go on board with Glenn Seaton. Lap 5 of 13. He tries to find a way past Larry Perkins.
Just you gotta listen to him. Yeah, he definitely isn't struggling to stay there. He's
well, the expectation of how the AU XR8 was going to perform so far, so good, because Bright's sitting in second. Seaton is sitting in 6th, Longhurst is 7th, so Longhurst isn't far behind Glenn Seaton. There is the triple-emetry from Glenn Seaton's Ford Tickford Racing AU.
The order at the moment, Mark Scaife, 7/10 of a second ahead of Jason Bright, then it's Tander, Lowndes, Perkins, Seaton, Longhurst, Bargwanna back in 8th, Russell Engel in 9th, Stephen Ellery rounds out the top 10.
Shell cars seem to be struggling. Paul Radisich is well down in 16th position. Dick Johnson 20th at the moment.
maybe if Glenn can get close enough. I was going to say if he can get close. Oh, this is...
oh, it's getting serious here. Craig Lowndes trying to find a way around Garth Tander, the crown in the grandstand stand up as Lowndes really applies the thumb screws. 260k through turn one. That's really great driving.
Yes, he's through.
That's a great drive by our reigning champ. You've got to admit, this guy can really cut and thrust him with the best of them, but he never puts a damage on the car.
The over and under trick heading through turn one. Just settled in behind Garth Tander, worked out where he was going to take him. Give Garth Tander some credit because he's driven sensibly so far.
If you look at Scaife, Bright and Lowndes have lapping virtually identical.
Oh, is that Seaton?
Could be great.
Yes,
Pass on Larry Perkins. Nice work.
Well, he was working on him pretty hard for a few laps there. Larry was holding him out. Seaton must have got through.
Well, look at the bunch behind, because you've got Longhurst, then you've got Bargwanna, then you have Engel and Ellery. They're all in a nice group there. That's the battle for 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, etc. So here comes Craig Lowndes, who's starting to haul in Jason Bright. Garth Tander is trying to stay in touch. We've got a terrific battle behind those guys.
Yeah, I spoke to Jeff Gretsch before the race, and he was saying that he'd spoken to both Scaife and Lowndes. He said, listen, whatever you do, don't bend these things, you know. Don't start...
Here we go.
Yeah, it's just
replays.
Nicely up the inside, and Larry just run a little bit wide there.
He's
not giving it up easy.
They've kissed 2 or 3 times already. Oh, look at the damage on the side of the Castrol Commodore. So Seaton must have tried to get up on the inside at 2.
Yeah.
Unsuccessful. Now he's going to come back for another try.
Down the right-hand side. Yes, he's got it this time.
You can see Larry just had a bit of oversteer coming out of that corner. Cost him a bit of exit speed. And Glenn Seaton took advantage.
You remember back in 97 in race 3, Glenn Seaton did exactly the same move. Trying at turn 2 with John Bow. Here's the 2 wins, boys. Stephen Richards and Greg Murphy. They're attacking Mark Larkham, one either side. Larkham's in a win sandwich at the moment. Down into turn 2, hard on the brakes. Now who's that? That's Neil Crompton in there as well. In the second of the Ford Tickford Racing Falcons, the older EL.
Yeah, Neil waiting for his new AU model to come on stream, hopefully for the sensational Adelaide 500 in 2 weeks' time.
This is currently 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th.
Paul Radisich, I hear, is just headed into pit lane as well. So it's not a good start for the Shelton. There he is. Kiwi making his Shell Series debut for Dick Johnson Racing.
Did do well in qualifying, qualified just outside the top 10 considering how much time he's had in this car, and he'd never even seen the Eastern Creek circuit before. The 2 times World Touring Car Cup champ, from the British Touring Car Championship to the Australian V8 Supercars, the Shell Series. Here we go, Russell Ingall is fighting off Stephen Ellery and trying to get past Bargwanna. Bargwanna's right on Longhurst.
It's a fabulous battle. Look at them all lined up there. Longhurst, Bargwanna, Ingall, Ellery, John Bower, Mark Larkham. That's the top 12.
Yeah, Russell was saying that the car really feels different on the Bridgestone tyres. It feels a lot sloppier because the constructions are a bit softer, and the car doesn't feel as precise as it did on the Dunlops, yet it's quicker.
Well, they've got a lot of work to do. A lot of teams that haven't run Bridgestone tyres before, they're very impressed with the consistency of these tyres. They've got to get their suspension packages worked out. Oh, Rodney Forbes.
Now, they're the 2 top running privateers. Rodney Forbes was the top privateer.
Cameron McLean in the Greenfield Mowers entry. He's off in the bunker as well. Well, that's a great disappointment for Rodney.
Yeah.
He was fastest privateer here over the weekend and running very strongly in the top 20 in this opening heat. That car's beached for the first heat, so he'll go to the back of the grid for heat 2.
Tony Longhurst with an all-new Castrol livery. Looks great. We've got all 3 Castrol cars. Larry Perkins, Russell Ingall and Tony Longhurst, all of course sponsored by Castrol. 3 different liveries. They look fantastic. Longhurst sitting in 7th position at the moment. Bargwanna not too far behind in 8th. Ingall and Stephen Ellery doing a great job in 10th position in the Chelgrave Ford, the ex-Mark Larkham car.
Russell had some problems with an engine yesterday. They pulled in after the second untimed session. There was metal all through the oil lines, so the boys had to do a really quick engine change. But at that stage, he was only 19th fastest. He's been struggling for speed all weekend. And he said he knows just how important it is to start amassing those points from the first heat or the first round if you're going to be in the running for this championship.
Well, look who's looming in the background behind Stephen Ellery. It's the Caterpillar Ford of John Bowe. First Shell Championship Series race with the new team. You'll see the AU Falcon debuted probably at the Barbagallo round later in the year for the Perth-based team. Right behind him is Stephen Richards.
3 laps remaining for our race leader, Mark Scaife. The gap remaining about 1 second between himself and Jason Bright in second. Lowndes 1.8 seconds behind the Pertec Ford, so the top 3 remaining fairly static tandem back and forth. Seaton, Perkins, Longhurst, Bargwanna, Ingall, Ellery, and here comes in 11th position John Bowe in the new Caterpillar Falcon, getting a bit of heat from Stephen Richards in the Wins Commodore.
And that's a very good job by Stephen Richards, because that's a brand new car. The first time it hit the track was last Wednesday at Calder, so basically they've been on a big learning curve as of Friday, the first time the car hit the track here, or yesterday.
There he goes down the inside. They're going to go side by side with John Bowe, and he's muscled his way through too. John Bowe was just saying before the race they haven't been too happy with the suspension setup on the car. A lot of understeer apparently, and he was even worried about the durability of the tyres under those conditions. So John's struggling a little bit for setup, but it's very early days for the Caterpillar team.
If you look at the distance between Scaife and Bright, it's 1.3 seconds, and it's just going up and down a little bit. So I think Scaife has got it under control. And Lowndesy is really making nothing on Jason Bright.
So the top 3 remain static. As John Bowe tries to pick up positions. He's just outside the top 10.
Dear me, what have we got going on here?
Shell Helix replays. Simon Emazides in the Simon's Earthworks car. Might have been a bit of a nudge there from the Ultra-Tuned Commodore of Michael Donohoe. Oh, did he avoid any carnage? Yeah, he has.
He was going round and round and round yesterday, wasn't he? Spun a few times.
Back to the action. That's Neil Crompton. Neil Crompton in the Ford Tickford Racing EL Falcon is out. We don't know where that is on the circuit, but it hasn't been a happy weekend for Crompton. 2 laps left to run. Now, he qualified 14th, was having some setup problems with the car, and now he is out of the vehicle and out of race 1.
Well, some you win, some you lose. Glenn Seaton's still running strongly, and look how close the Pertec Falcon of Jason Bright is behind our race leader, Mark Scaife. He's in a Mobile Holden Racing Team sandwich at the moment, but he's really catching hand over fist.
Something must have happened in that last lap, because he went from 1.3 down to 0.4 of a second, so maybe got involved in or went off the road a little bit or something, but he's caught 1.1 seconds.
Last time around, Scaife did a 1:33.18 and Bright a 32.6, so he found half a second there. That's made the difference. He's right behind the car. Whether he can hold on for the next couple of laps, we'll have to see.
Showed incredible maturity last year at the FAI 1000 Classic at Bathurst, Jason Bright, which saw him and teammate Stephen Richards take the race out. We see the minor 10 lap counter there, lap 12 of 13. Time is running out for Bright. About 3 or 4 car lengths the difference as they come onto the main straight. Can the Pertec Ford of Jason Bright catch Mark Scaife? There's no doubt that Lowndes won't be able to catch up to Bright. We are on our way home here at Eastern Creek for race 1 of 3.
Well, I'm sure that Mark must have made a mistake there. You know, it's because he's pulling away from Bright.
Have a look at this bunch here. Bargwanna is coming up the inside of Tony Longhurst. Ingle looking for a way through, so too Stephen Ellery. And then behind them is Stephen Richards, who's left John Bowe behind. This will be the battle to watch on the last lap as they come down into turn 2. Ingle will search for the inside. Bargwanna successfully defends. Nice driving there, and Stephen Ellery tries to go up the inside of Ingle.
Great battle all the way back in the field. Tony Longhurst, this is the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th.
Quick shot there too of Glenn Seaton trying on Garth Tander, battling for that 4th position. This here, the battle we're watching now, is 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. They've been together the entire race distance. Good close racing at the creek.
Russell Ingle really stuck in that pack. I don't think Jason Bright's going to be able to do anything about Mark Scaife. In this race, he lost about half a second there on that previous lap. But you can see he's matching the pace of that Pertec Ford. And he's only got a few hundred metres before he crosses that finish line.
Well, the last time Mark Scaife won here at Eastern Creek was race 2 back in 1995. The wait is over. Onto the main straight, the checkered flag is waiting. The Mobil 1 HRT Commodore Mark Scaife from pole position to the checkered flag. Well done, Scaife in for the win from Jason Bright. There's the onboard camera, and a sense of satisfaction for Mark Scaife. Not only did he get away to a blinding start, but a good run for the entire 13 laps. To hold off Jason Bright wasn't that hard until the end. Bright bridged the gap. A good run for Scaife and a great start for the season.
Great drive from Tander, 4th place. That is really good going from Seaton and Perkins.
Well, he needed to get some decent runs on the board and settle down and not be involved in any skirmishes. And young Garth Tander, who turns 22 later this week, has done a great job. Let's check the final placings for you. Of course, Mark Scaife in for the win from Jason Bright in the new AU XR8 Falcon. Craig Lowndes in for 3rd from Tander. Glenn Seaton, who held on to 5th. Larry Perkins, Tony Longhurst, Jason Bargwanna in 8th position. We take a look back 9 through 16. Ingle, Ellery, a good drive there. Stephen Richards worked his way up from 15th to 11th. Bowe, Murphy, Larkham dropped from 10th back to 14th. Noski, well done in 15th, good work. And Dick Johnson in 16th. We'll be back with more right after this.